Hello, good morning, friends and adventurers. Welcome back to the SideQuest Contact. Now we're going to be continuing, I should say, our discussion. We were working up an alien story, and in the last video, just a brief recap, we kind of came up with our player character's home base, the planet and the in the solar system where our players are. They're going to call that home, for now at least. Now, what we determined, we have a white main sequence star with a number of planets, and our colony planet is going to be the seventh. It's an ice planet. And here it's about the size of Mars. We have a breathable atmosphere, but it's really cold out. No surface water. Huge and active cryovolcanoes. We're going to take a look at that here a little bit because that could be a story adventure type hook there. Colony type, it's a small one. We got about 70 people. They have one mission and they're drilling for minerals. We got two moons in orbit around the place, and we got a couple factions, and our colony patron, Seegson Corporation. We're going to take a look at that here in just a second. We rolled up a story hook. We got religious leaders whipping up discontent. So we could say maybe we have three factions. We got scientists, corporate representatives, religious leaders, and we have some growing points of conflict that we can get players involved with. Now we're going to take a quick look at Seegson because this is the corporation we work for. This is the boss. So where are we at here? Let's go find it. Governments and corporations. And this will give us more ideas and more stuff to work with, more material to think about. Let's go back and do single, and we're going to zoom in some. Alright, Seegson. It's kind of creepy looking. Alright. Prominent manufacturer, prominent manufacturer of inexpensive alternatives to Weyland-Yutani's product lines. Seegson is Europe's conglomerate that will forever be in Weyland-Yutani's shadow. Well known for their award-winning Apollo AI mainframe and low-end synthetics. First gained notoriety by sharing their inventions and pooling their resources with smaller companies. So we have, and think about the alien universe. You have Weyland-Yutani is the big super mega corporation, and they're often the antagonists in many of the alien stories. So we have this company here, Seegson, who is kind of like I guess the cheaper version of Weyland-Yutani. Looks like they can do good eye manufacturers. They produce cheaper synthetics, cheaper androids than Weyland-Yutani, and it looks like here we have an image of one, Working Joe they call it. Let's kind of keep looking. Now we're not going to go through all of this. Let's see. Innovators of spaceflight, Sieg and Sun was founded in direct competition to Weyland-Yutani. They patented their own FTL, faster than light displacement drive system. All right, cool. 2070s, they were operating major production panels of plants across the globe. The Sieg family had sold back their shares to the company, and Sieg and Son was condensed to Seegson. Synthetic market in the 2100s with their Working Joe model android. Not advanced as Weyland-Yutani's like the Walter or the David from the movies we've seen. In fact, they have these Working Joe androids have obviously fake rubbery skin. They look more like walking mannequins as opposed to a human being. Yeah, an animated mannequin. Inexpensive labor force, sold well on the ever-shifting frontier. Rudimentary intelligence designed to perform maintenance and menial tasks. So yeah, so we got cheaper, more low-grade androids that just do basic functions, not like the super fancy, Dave and Walter androids from later. Let's see. All right, so here it looks like okay, we got a bad decision that they made where Weyland-Yutani was getting into atmospheric processing Seegson through their money into orbital platforms. It looks like people liked, even with harsh worlds, they preferred a world over being confined in a floating space station. So that didn't go too well for them. By 2140, most of their stations have been placed on the market. Alright, so we got leaders here. Director James Russell. He's the Frontier leader. It's a publicly traded company run by a board of directors. Director James Russell is out on the frontier looking through interest. He has a station or headquarters on Anchor Point. And we're going to take a look at the map and kind of try to visualize where all this stuff is. All right, so it looks like our director is a fan of the Western. Okay, yeah, and he thinks that the frontier in space is kind of like the frontier of the Old West in the 1800s North America. All right, so we got headquarters, home offices in London, Buenos Aires, Nagasaki, and the Moon, the Solomons, and Anchor Point Station, and a few deep space stations and R&D platforms. So this could be one of the places our players are, one of these few deep space stations and R&D platforms. All right, so our products, they're good with AI, Apollo. So I'm thinking in the space station with the story, that they're going to be the players are going to be dealing with the AI called Apollo. Major producers of space and ground vehicles, pharmaceuticals, and the mannequin-like Working Joe. So what they're drilling for out way out here are probably some elements that are needed for, the circuitry for, the AI, the circuitry for these Working Joes. And yeah, Seegson's wares are considered somewhat inferior to those of Weyland Yutani. Yeah, they're the cheap version. They're of Weyland Yutani. Colonial Times has even referred to Seegson merchandise as cheap knockoffs. Still, an independent colony that couldn't afford Weyland Yutani could do well with the Seegson system. The Apollo mainframe continues to be popular and cost effective for starship and colony management. So yeah, definitely players are definitely going to be interacting with Apollo. All right, so we got relations, lucrative contracts with the independent core system colonies and the Three World Empire. Their business affiliates include Geofund. Okay, okay. Always looking to score big over Weyland Yutani. Right? They don't like Weyland Yutani, but Weyland Yutani doesn't really look at them like a threat. They're just like a little pissant company. Oh, and here we are, xenomorphs. Seegson is also looking to secure specimens of xenomorph XX121 for study and evaluation. Uh-huh. So there's part of the story here. Again, xenomorphs are coming later. Alright, so what's going on here? Current activities trying to sabotage Weyland Yutani interest out on the frontier where our players are. We got a scandal. A large shipment of Working Joe synthetics were sold before their inhibitors were installed. That's not good. These units went to an anonymous buyer out on the frontier. While unsubstantiated, some believe these androids were purchased by a would-be petty dictator used in backwater planetary coup. Others believe they were covertly commissioned by the UPP for use as an artificial combat unit, and still others worries that the omission of the inhibitor programming was an error. Just an error, but even still an error with disastrous ramifications. Synthetics, not with their behavior inhibitors capable of murder. That's not a good idea. That's not a good look. Okay, so I think that's it on Seegson. So that gives us some good food for thought. Um, yeah, definitely like the idea that this station out here on this ice planet is is drilling for some rare element that is needed for the circuitry of their goods, their AI circuits, their their synthetics, their Working Joe circuits. Um, so yeah, that's it. Let's kind of pop some notes in here. Okay, so where's colony type, mission, drilling, rare elements needed for circuitry in Apollo AI and Working Joe synthetics. Now it also mentioned that they build vehicles. So I'm envisioning these vehicles. I'm thinking they're treaded. They're going out into the ice, and they're equipped with these drills, or they're carrying these drills, and these drills are going down. I'm imagining a good number of these Working Joe synthetics here doing the actual work in a human, like in a control booth somewhere. A human or two in a control booth, going over the readings, making sure everything's working properly. But it's these Working Joe synthetics who are kind of doing the work. there's a good we could steal a good idea from a Star Trek: The Next Generation episode that just occurred to me. Because let's look at this. Remember, we have some factions, so we got to start thinking of plots and intrigues and conflicts that our players are going to get wrapped in. Now we have maybe some scientists and the corporate reps, right? So there's a I can't remember the exact details, but there's a good episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where they're using this highly advanced tool, and then Data, the android on this ship, comes to realize that this tool is intelligent and self-aware, and it does no longer wants to perform these dangerous tasks that it was designed and built to do. So there's a conflict. That's the conflict of this episode. Is this tool we built to go do this dangerous thing? Is it allowed to say no? We built it, we made it. We built it to do this dangerous thing, and now it's self-aware and doesn't want to. So we could maybe have some scientists here on our world who maybe they kind of catch wise that maybe one or two of these working Joe synthetics are becoming more. They're becoming a little more self-aware, and then what would happen? This is a great question. And the players would be involved with this. What would happen if they say, "All right, Joe synthetic, go into that cave and do this dangerous task," and the working Joe synthetic said, "No, I don't want to." That would be a big. I like that. So I'm gonna make a note here. So we have maybe some conflict around possible self awareness of the working Joe synthetics. Now the scientists, they're going to be, whoa, this is cool. Let's look at this. We need, let's investigate this. But our corporate reps are going to be like, no, put them to work. They're not human. They're not living things. They're machines. They're tools. Put them on the job that they were built for. And now we can wrap up our religious leaders in here as well with this little conflict. This is getting better and better. So also involves the the religious element. Maybe some of these religious people are saying, no, these things aren't living things, and they're siding with the corporate reps. And maybe we have a handful of the religious element who is saying, all things are, if they're living, then they're holy and they're blessed, and we should be protecting them. So yeah, we got some good source of some conflict here. I'm liking how this is turning out. Now, let me think. Next, I think we should take a look again. Let's go take a look at the galaxy, the map. Just get some visualization. Yeah, space is hell. I mean, even if xenomorphs aren't trying to burst out your chest, just the nature of space is terrifying. All right, I'm going to go to the 2 page. Now, I was kind of looking at this a little before I started recording, just so I knew where things were. Zoom in here. Now, it mentioned that our director for the Frontier Operations headquarters at a place called Anchor Point Station. I found that right here. Now, I didn't find any text or descriptions about Anchor Point Station, but that's fine. We can come up with our own. We can decide what's what. And it looks like, yeah, it's out here on this frontier area. Now, a little bit about the geopolitical makeup of that's not the stellar political makeup. I guess that's a better word of the galaxy. Is we got like three main political entities: the Union of Progressive Peoples, the Three World Empire, the United Americas. Oh, I guess four: the independent colonies. Now we can see here. Let me go a little bit back to where's Sol. Here's Sol. Now we see how here on Earth, like all of these entities kind of started spanning off. Like the United Americas started exploring this section. The Union of Progressive People started exploring this. The Three World Empire here in the green, and then the independent colonies kind of here in the yellow. They don't want to be part of any of the political units. So we see how that's working, or how that developed. Now Anchor Point Station, where was that? Right here. Okay, right here. Now purple indicates frontier, but the blue is United Americas, and the this green here is Three World Empire. As we were looking at the description of Seegson, they're mostly with the Three World Empire. So, and Wayland Yutani is more united in with the United Americas. So we got some close proximity here, and they're not at peace all the time. There are skirmishes, there are fights, there are battles. One company or one political outfit wants resources that another company or another political outfit want. So what happens? Well, what happens throughout human history when one group wants something another group has? They go to war. So yeah, we have our station here. So I'm thinking our home planet for our players are going to be somewhere out here in this region. So if anchor point stations here, like maybe we could have like one of these unnamed stars here, kind of be like where our players are. About right here. Kind of make it kind of distant. So anchor point stations here, and let's see, these are like how many squares away? One, two, three, four, five, six. I think that's like 1 parsec or something, and an actual measure of distance, not time. But and spaceships have a FTL rating that determines how fast it will take them to get from this point to this point. But you're not going to get into that right now. So we're gonna go with this far out world right here. This is going to be where our players are. You're here on this ice world, part of this mining, drilling colony, mineral drilling colony. We got some human Joes. We got some coming, self-aware, and the conflict kind of around that. That's going to develop around that. All right, let me take a look at our notes again. Let's see. Mineral drilling, rare elements needed in circuitry, Apollo AI, working Joe, and AI going amok. That's always a good story. A good story. An AI decides it's going to not do what it's supposed to do, and maybe it's Apollo itself that becomes self-aware, and then it's able to connect to the working Joes, and it's controlling the working Joes. Something like we can kind of develop that more. Now with 70 people, let's think about 70 people. Doesn't really seem like a lot, but when you put them all when you put 70 people on a planet, a cold planet, far from Earth, far from anything that's remotely civilized, that's 70 people will become a lot in the minds of those 70 people, because those 70 people, that's all they're going to see. Now I do imagine. So we have this station, right? Remember the atmosphere is breathable, but it's really cold, and there's no surface water, so we're not likely to grow anything or hunt anything on the planet. So any food has to be brought to the station, or they could probably have some internal garden, some internal food production that they could rely on. I don't think it's going to be a lot, because this seems to me like a very bare bones station, a very Spartan station. It's just out here to drill and get these elements, and we're not putting a lot of investment into personal entertainments and niceties and that sort of thing. So imagine like the food they're able to grow, probably root based, potatoes, carrots, that's turnips, nothing too exotic, nothing too fancy, and yeah, we probably have like shipments come in. Seegson probably sends a regular shipment, a ship of supplies to this station. So we would have a landing bay on the station. We would have a landing bay. We would have maintenance. We would have vehicle and maintenance facilities. We would have small, limited garden facilities. Probably some kitchen and mess facilities, research labs, living quarters, and all to encompass 70 people. And the players, they're going to be one of these 70 people. So I think a good way to go now, just to kind of keep the brain moving, in this creative motion, because just the little work, the little bit of effort we put into this has yielded pretty good results in my opinion. Like this storyline we're coming up with is it would be really nice if I were to run this in a game. And if you want to run it, take it, go for it, have fun. If you like this setup. So what we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here in a moment. But what we're going to do next is, I think I'm going to go in and create a character, like a player character, set it up, and kind of look at that in relation to the stuff we've already done so far, and kind of think out loud on how it all fits in. That'll give us more insight into the players and what it is they might be doing. All right, so yeah, got some good progress here. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll take care.